NA's first Valorant Masters tournament is done, and we have our first champion, Sentinels. Despite now having the answer to whether TenZ and SENs could do it, we're left with even more questions. Like, what's next for Sentinels? Can Faze make their playstyle work against Sentinels? And what about teams like Envy and 100 Thieves who, heading into this tournament, just expected more than what they got? This last tournament was a hell of a ride, and it's left us with even more to discuss, so let's dive in. $2 million subs. Is it impossible? No, not with a community like this. If you're watching this video and you're not already subbed to the channel, please hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and that way, when the content is fresh and hot and ready to consume, you will know immediately. Wow! We asked you last week, is TenZ even human? But I have a different question for you now. Was this the greatest stand-in performance in esports ever? I think it's definitely up there, because while I can think of stand-ins that won an event with a roster in CS, like Lele with NIP, for example, or incredible stand-in performances in Rainbow Six, none of them were the best player on their roster. But this weekend, TenZ was the best player in the tournament.
Sentinels doing a great job of hands. Look at him.
On A that you talked about, Riv. Keep an eye on Shazam. There it is, the Hunter Fury once again with TenZ, as he's good for 2.
He topped several categories like KD and average combat score, and this performance was a massive part of Sentinel's success. But another key takeaway from this event is that the entire roster is actually playing at a high level. Sick and Dapper had big individual performances, Shazam was obviously key to this whole thing coming together, and Zombs effectively played Sacrifice Omen the entire tournament. Having a Sentinels Faze Grand Finals after the 2-0 Sentinels win in Winners Finals was also great, because it clearly showed us that Sentinels are the best team in NA right now. So where do Sentinels go from here? Well, the obvious first question is a big one. Are they going to sign TenZ? Dapper had this to say on his Twitch stream.
TenZ does want to play with us, and he likes playing with us. But who the f wouldn't? We just won the biggest event in NA. So it's like, obviously he's gonna say he wants to play with us. If I won the biggest event, and then this guy said, nah, I'm good, I don't really like playing with you guys, I don't think my ego could have took that.
It's awesome that TenZ wants to continue to play with Sentinels, and as Dapper pointed out, that just makes sense. But the question is whether Sentinels are willing to pay for that privilege. With TenZ's contract still in the hands of Cloud9, nothing is set in stone. Earlier this month, Hiko responded to questions about why 100 Thieves hadn't signed TenZ on his Twitch stream.
As somebody who's been on Cloud9 and knows how the esports politic works, if you think that TenZ is getting off of Cloud9, you are sadly mistaken until his contract is up. I don't want to get into too much politics. I don't want to really air the dirty laundry I have with Cloud9, but I mean, if you're interested, there was, you know, me, there were some other CS players that you might know in Valorant today that, you know, had similar problems.
If this was true on March 1st when Hiko said it, then TenZ's value has likely skyrocketed, both in the eyes of Cloud9 and any team looking to pick up a big impact player. But why would C9 be unwilling to part with TenZ if he's not playing for their pro team? Well, I don't have a copy of his contract, and it's possible Cloud9 just likes having him around as a content creator, but here's a pretty big possible reason. With every passing stellar performance, this guy's value gets higher and higher. No matter what happens, TenZ is getting a bag at the end of this. In a tweet on Monday, longtime esports personality Sir Scoots tweeted that he believed Valorant player salaries and buyouts were already extremely high given the limited opportunities so far for orgs to find some returns. When asked, he said that he wasn't referring specifically to TenZ, but in my opinion, he could certainly be part of this situation. Look, of course C9 understood that TenZ was potentially valuable to other teams, and now the entire scene has proof of that. but the question is whether Sentinels are willing or even able to pay. And while I'm sure Cloud9 could legally hold on to TenZ's contract until it expires, if that's what they want to do, I question whether or not that really makes sense. I mean, they could get some returns right now. Whatever happens in the long run, this was a hell of a show. I personally hope that Sentinels and C9 can work something out because we really want to see how far this roster can go. We should also check in with Faze Clan as they emerge from this tournament as the region's second strongest team. Normally, that's high praise, and there is a lot that this roster should be happy about, including a pair of big wins over Team Envy that help cement their position in NA. Against everyone except Sentinels, this team's aggressive playstyle, with Babybay leading the way, seemed extremely effective. But the Schmieg, as it's come to be known, was stopped dead in its tracks by SENs.
Couple players left now as Corey takes out TenZ, but there's no time for him. The lineup for Dapper's good. He sprays him down, and Sentinels once again on A. Finish the round, and they're coming back here, 4-5.
The best team truly is having an answer for everything. You have an answer for everything, like you're straight chilling. That's what FaZe needs. I hope they can find it. I really do.
FaZe's coach Trippy has 5 maps from this tournament, all of them losses, to pour over for answers about how they can deal with Sentinels. And I have no doubt that when we see this matchup again, the Schmieg will be even more sophisticated than before. Gen.G also had a notable performance at this tournament as they finished 3rd and defeated both 100 Thieves and Envy to do so. Both Mikhail and Guimond were top 5 for clutches at this tournament, and that gives this team an interesting path forward. If they can learn to handle the Schmieg, they could find themselves moving up the ranks pretty quickly.
Oh my word. The cat and mouse right now that is happening is absurd. Spike's gonna be planted. Mikhail with the dart, with a bit of HP. Gets food, takes the double damage there, but he's gonna send the owl drone through. Hell has been identified. Shock dart through. Oh, he gets him with the bow, still out.
I think it's fair to say that both 100 Thieves and Team Envy had a disappointing tournament. Envy at least made 4th, earning themselves 45 VCT points like Gen.G. But for a team that many expected to make finals, it's bittersweet. Remember, those points are what will qualify teams for champions at the end of the year, and it's basically like Valorant's version of Worlds. 100 Thieves earned 20 VCT points for 5th, 6th, and it will be interesting to see how they handle that result. They added Ethan earlier this month, and while results in recent weeks have been lackluster, they're still stacked deep with talent and experience. If they have the patience to get through this rough patch, they still have the tools to get back to consistent podium finishes. And with CS minds like Hiko, Steel, and Nitro on the roster, it feels like only a matter of time until they start to figure out both FaZe and Sentinels. NA wasn't the only region to hold the Masters tournament this weekend. In Europe, we saw the rise of Ascend, previously known as Raise Your Edge Gaming. Despite the crowd consistently expecting a different result, Ascend battled their way to the championship past top teams like NiP, Fun Plus Phoenix, and Team Heretics. CNED earned tournament MVP as Jet, and he was an absolute highlight machine.
It's just keep it simple, stupid. It's gonna be just straight on in. CNED, there's no, mincing of words here. This is very much to the point. CNED's made it to the back of sight, but Nuki's already found Cold Mentor, and that's a problem. Pora with a spray through, finds Bone Cold. CNED feeling lonelier and lonelier, all on his lonesome now. Dives back in, that's 1, that's 2. He needs more, he gets more. 3, oh my word, he's given them a chance. Another 1v1, make it a 1v2. Stanzo!
But of course, I had my eyes on Bone Cold. This guy is absolutely cracked, and his team puts him on agents like Brimstone, Omen, and Viper.
Dangerous positions, only that Sheriff beside him, but they're cornered. And now timing is everything, because keep in mind, Pora will be cresting it soon. That's 1, that's 2, the 3rd, the 3rd, Bone Cold!
Listen, if you're watching this, there's a strong chance you're an NA fan. But European Valorant is incredible right now too. Hopefully we don't have to wait too long for these two regions to clash. Between TenZ and SENs, the shifting NA landscape, and SENs rise in Europe, there's so much to talk about right now in Valorant. Did any players catch your eye that you'd like to see us talk about, or maybe even talk to? Let us know in the comments below. Yes, hello, I'm here to see TenZ, please. And then TenZ comes out and he's like, I brought you this bouquet from the market, and I was hoping perhaps to play some Valorant with you later, if you would be so inclined.